Relying on willpower to change your old habits is just so difficult. The notion that you can overcome temptation and stick to a goal if you simply try hard enough isn't the most efficient, effective way to change habits. In fact, according to a survey, it was the most commonly cited barrier to making healthy lifestyle changes. In fact, there's no clear evidence that willpower even exists. But one thing is certain. If it does exist, it tends to flake out at just the moments we need it most. Research suggests that during times of stress, such as when we're hungry, angry, lonely, or tired, the area of the brain thought to be responsible for controlling behavior, called the prefrontal cortex, goes offline, making us more likely to give in to unsavory habits. If you've ever emptied your coworker's candy bowl when tensions were running high at work, you've experienced this firsthand. The new thinking about habit formation offers several strategies for breaking bad habits, none of which rely on white-knuckling it. Other parts of our minds are much better suited to helping us stop certain patterns of behavior and create newer, better ones. There are ways to do this in spite of the challenges of everyday life that tend to throw us off course. Like the latest smartphone, our brains have older, basic components alongside newer ones that developed as humans evolved. The newer regions, like the prefrontal cortex, govern rational thinking and decision-making. A key feature of our older brain involves the reward-based learning systems centered in the basal ganglia. This area simply makes us want to do more of the things that feel good and less of the things that feel bad. In cavewoman days, this helped us survive. Because life was precarious and food was scarce, when we spotted fruit, seeds, or grass, our brains shouted, "Eat that." We ate the berries. They tasted good, and that, in turn, prompted our brains to release a chemical called dopamine, which cemented this smart strategy in place. In behavioral neuroscience terms, this is called a habit loop, a three-part system composed of a trigger, the food citing, a behavior, eating the food, and a reward, contentment and survival. A few million years later, famine is less of an issue for most of us, but plenty of other things came into existence with the ability to make us feel bad, such as political strife, war, human rights concerns, and more mundane things like kid drama. These are new problems, but our primitive brain wants to use the same old programming, so it sends the message you're not feeling great. Try doing something that will trigger dopamine and maybe you'll feel better. And many of these things are not great for us. Sugary foods are one of the fastest ways to satisfy that dopamine craving. Alcohol and cigarettes can do the same. Plenty of behavioral habits can give us the same buzz. Dating apps, likes on social media and online shopping all provide an instant dopamine rush, reinforcing those habit loops. But once a new pleasure becomes ingrained, it can start to feel different. The first time you realized you could check your phone while waiting in line, it felt interesting and fun. You thought you were bored, but you're interested. Soon enough, though, scrolling while bored becomes your new normal. Now it's no longer a pleasant surprise. In fact, not being able to check your phone while bored actually makes you feel uncomfortable. In other words, it has become a habit. A similar pattern among smokers. They don't talk as much about the pleasure they get from having a cigarette during a smoke break, but they do talk about how much they miss that smoke break if they can't have it. Willpower isn't enough to overcome millennia of hard wiring to break a pattern that makes you feel good, or keeps you from feeling bad. To have the best chance of success, try these strategies. 1. Get wise to friction. In 2017, an analytics company examined data from 7.5 million mobile devices to see how far people traveled to exercise. It's no surprise that the shorter the distance, the more likely people were to follow through. What's interesting is that those with an average round trip of 3.7 miles hit the gym 5 or more times a month, while those who had to travel about 5.1 miles went only once. Less than a mile and a half made all the difference between someone with a regular exercise habit and someone without one. Those extra minutes in the car were what habit formation experts call friction, environmental factors that render us less likely to engage in a particular behavior. Friction is everywhere. How hard it is to save money when spending requires just a flash of your phone or card. The challenge of focusing on work despite distracting social media apps. The trick is to increase friction on behaviors we don't want and decrease friction on those we do want. If you're trying to kick a procrastination habit, delete time-sucking apps from your phone and set up a dedicated workspace in a home office or at a cafe. Looking to eat less meat? Sign up for a plant-based meal delivery service for a few days a week. Like a direct deposit program that automatically sends part of your pay to your savings account. Just the act of making your desired habit easier makes you more likely to stick to your goal. 2. Lather. Rinse, repeat, repeat, repeat. Using the turn signal in your car to change lanes and kissing your partner goodbye in the morning may seem like conscious decisions, but these are prime examples of habits that have become so trained into our minds, schedules and interactions that no thinking or decision-making is involved. That's what allows us to function without mentally exhausting ourselves by planning every tiny movement. If you find yourself automatically pulling a bottle of wine out of the fridge when you prepare dinner or reaching into the chips bowl while you watch TV, it's because you've trained yourself to do so. The trick to building a healthier habit is to harness your mental system to work for you, not against you. Do this with actions you can repeat without even having to think about them. Stash your phone in your glove box or trunk when you get in the car. Ask your server to box up half your meal before serving it. Grab an apple before settling in on the sofa to watch TV. The first time will be the hardest, but it grows incrementally easier as you build this habit version of muscle memory. Research suggests that different behaviors tend to require different amounts of repetition before becoming automatic. Adding a piece of fruit to your diet takes about 65 days. Drinking something healthy, 59 days. Exercising, 91 days. As a shortcut, tack new habits onto positive or benign ones that already exist. They could be, after your morning coffee, for instance, meditate for 1 minute. Before you get into bed, stretch for a few minutes. After you wash your face in the morning, apply sunscreen. Ask yourself where your new habit or resolution naturally fits into your day, and use your existing routine to prompt you to do it. The idea is for both actions to become joined and rote. 3. Play a little game. Tap into the benefits of gamification or turning a task into something fun in order to encourage oneself. Think of sticker charts parents use to get their kids to brush their teeth. For an adult, rewards like avatars, badges, and points serve as concrete markers to help you move yourself forward, because accomplishing a goal feels good. You're rewarding yourself for making an effort as opposed to punishing yourself for having failed. Lots of apps use gamification to help break bad habits and create healthy ones. Habitica, free for iOS and Android, motivates you by turning your goals into a retro video game adventure. 4. Get curious about your habit. This strategy is a simple but profound way to beat your next urge to snack, text while driving, shop online, or smoke. Rooted in the field of mindfulness, it involves stopping the moment the urge hits and asking yourself, what am I getting from this? Let's say you're anxiously ransacking your desk for candy. Step back for a moment and observe what's happening. Get curious about your craving. You may think, wow, I'm like a zombie on autopilot. Or perhaps you'll realize you don't even feel like eating candy right now. It's just what you have conditioned yourself to do when work stress hits. Being present interrupts the habit loop and lets you take back some of the power by making you slow down and helping you start to see how unrewarding the original behavior was. An app that employs mindfulness to help users break the cycle of craving-induced eating is 8, free for both iOS and Android, and feel free to try it out. So, hope you got a bunch of value from this video. Consider subscribing and see you in the next video.